were there any other good questions? I mean, one of the other questions, Kyle, that came up was, did you use any pesticides at all?
No.
All right.
Oh, not at all. Okay.
No.
And that's huge.
I usually side dress that on. Feeder on a corn planter. I use nothing.
So you can see our numbers were super conservative. Kyle, what did you calculate that most traditional ag farmers use or cost per bushel? Was it $2 to $2.40 per bushel, or was I crazy when you said that?
Yeah, it was something like that, and then ours was, I think, what?
39 cents.
Yeah, it was like 20 something, 30 something.
Yeah. So the conventional number right there is low. It's very low. And if nitrogen goes up this year, it could be as high as $3 a bushel for nitrogen grow. And so he's going to spend more money this year because we are doing some additional nutrients. Because our goal is to hit how many bushel per acre?
We've seen some things out there. Maybe we can pull. Maybe we really want to hit 3, but they're capable of. I think some plants are capable of 600. But we just want to try and hit our 300 mark, and then. But 600, if we can knock that out of the park, we'll knock it out of the park.
So think about that, Av.
What in your planting density? Do you know how much? What?
It's typical spacing and planting. Kyle, what is your spacing and your seeds per? However you guys talk that language.
Every 6 inches, and then usually 1 to 2 inch, and then we got the compactors in the back. Just a little bit of pressure we put on those, and then that's all we do. It's just normal for everyone. I mean, we're all about the same as everyone else. We're trying to keep it even with the other farmer to kind of figure out what we got going on. So that's why we're trying to keep all our levels and everything the same as him, so we can really test it out.
What are you planting in this same field this year?
That field's gonna have beans.
Beans, okay.
And right now it's got cover crop on it, and so we're gonna be crimping and everything else, and so we can crimp it in, and then we're gonna be putting our beans in, and then the other fields we're going to be applying fish brew and everything else to it. So that's another 300 acres we're going to be trying this year. So we'll have 500 acres total.
And Keith, I want you to explain that you do have mycorrhizae spores in your products.
We do on all of our products. I think the highest level is in the bold. That's why, like I said earlier, that's why we use that for seed start.
Is that something you add or you found? No. It's in there.
And again, something that's really, really important to understand is these organisms are in vivo. They're not grown in vitro. So when you grow something in vitro, you're growing it in the perfect environment, perfect light, perfect temperature, perfect amount of food. You take that and throw it out into a hostile environment, how well is it going to take? Right? These are grown in nature, so they're tough as the day is long. Think about this. You take a ghetto kid, or you take a rich kid who's been spoon-fed and hadn't done anything his whole life, and you throw him in a ghetto. How long is he going to last? That's your in vitro. That's your in vitro organisms. I don't care if they're bacteria, mycorrhizae, whatever. You're going to throw that kid into the ghetto, and he ain't going to have a chance. Now, you take the ghetto kid, the in vivo product, and you throw him into a rich building or a rich mansion with all those access to all those things. How well is he going to do? Right? He's going to kill it. So his mycorrhizae spores are grown in nature. So they're ready. They're obviously one of the more aggressive forms of mycorrhizae that will colonize. And we've had successful colonization using this when I didn't use microapply or any of the other products out there. So I know it works. And so originally we talked to Kyle about adding BioRatis to his suite of products to apply this year. But I'm going to back off and say, let's hold off this year and let's use 2 applications on both sets of fields. And then we're going to do root samples at just before harvest. We're going to send them off to microroots and see if we have colonization. And if that's the case and he continues to cover crop, that mycorrhizae is just going to spread like wildfire.
So, how late did you get that cover crop in? Like,
right after we harvested, we tried to put it in as soon as, and we just did. We spread it out. We didn't even do nothing in the soil. Yep.
And Leighton, would you recommend another application just prior or at the same time as you're putting the cover crop down?
So in his case, no. But something really important to notice is, Kyle, how early did you harvest compared to the other farmers?
It was dry. Almost 3 weeks?
We were probably out 2 weeks before most of all the other farmers that planted the same day or week as we did.
And we were pulling heavier test weight, and it was super dry as we pulled it out. So we were low on moisture, and we were getting some heavy test weights.
So think about that. So again, huge value. And the fact that he could pull 2 to 3 weeks early meant he had 2 to 3 weeks early for that cover crop to get established.